Welcome to Tech Savvy. My name is Leigh Newman, and I'm the Executive Director of the campus at LaGrange of West Georgia Technical College. And we have, as every other episode, we've had so much stuff going on campus. And one thing that I want to remind all our viewers about is we have a Friends and Family event coming up on May the 30th. And it's going to be on campus, and we're going to have all kinds of fun activities, and lots of people are going to be there to tell you about what's going on in their world. We've got the fire department coming, we've got dance teams coming, we've got free hot dogs, and we'll have tours, and the list goes on. So we look forward to having you on our campus so we can tell you all about the great things that we're doing at West Georgia Tech. Today, I'm really been looking forward to having our guest today. He is very smart. He knows all you need to know about cyberspace and cyber security, and we're afraid to ask. So we're looking. Dr. Gary Perry is our computer information system instructor at the LaGrange campus. And congratulations again. We're very proud because he just received his doctorate, and it was he's got a doctorate in applied computer science. And all I can say is we are so fortunate to have him on our campus, and our students are so fortunate to have him be able to share bits and pieces of his knowledge, because he has lots of knowledge and lots of experience in the computer science world. And Dr. Perry, thank you so much for joining me today. I know you've got a busy schedule, and you've got lots of students that are anxiously waiting to hear what you have to say about computer science.
I wish they were that anxious.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are. Of course, they're coming up to the end of the semester.
Yes, ma'am.
Things get kind of busy and hairy, don't they?
They sure do.
Well, tell me, as computer information systems instructor, what are your programs? What are your offerings? What do you teach our students?
Basically, we have two programs. We have a diploma and degree in both computer support and in networking. Okay, networking is, we actually recommend that people do a dual degree. That gives you the best of both worlds. The two programs are designed to dovetail so that the electives in one program fit into the requirements of the other program. It gives you the best of both worlds.
Right.
Networking is basic networking, connecting computers, allowing computers to communicate with each other. The internet is just a gigantic collection of private networks that communicate with each other. The World Wide Web is a different component of that lets you see different web pages and such as that, but it's without the internet, the network, the World Wide Web would not exist. So it supports the World Wide Web and lets us see all the information that's out there. We're in the digital age right now, and information is power. It's simply as simple as that. We are training students to be valuable members of the IT field. We support the LaGrange area, 70-mile service area, and to that extent our training focuses on a jack-of-all-trades type of approach rather than a specialized approach.
Right.
I have taught at colleges where they had a more specialized approach, but that was up in the Atlanta area where there's more specialization available. We have a very good reputation and relationship with local businesses here, and I've supplied students, on more than one occasion to businesses around here. Sometimes they get a job and then they forget about finishing their school, which doesn't make me happy, but
but we're trying to get them in the workforce.
Yes, that is our primary focus. My whole orientation is to give the students valuable job skills that translate into dollars in their pocket, and it usually does. We do all of the classes that I teach are oriented towards industry certifications. We have the big 3 certifications that most IT folks know about are A+, Net Plus, and MCSA, or more modern MCITP.
Which means?
Net Plus, or rather start with A+. A+ is hardware and software, how to work on a PC, how the PC works. We have 2 classes. There are 2 exams that you have to take in order to get the A+ certification. You get those 2 exams, and that tells industry representatives that you've got a good grounding on PC computers and what they do, how they work. Then networking, Network Plus, is a generic networking type of certification. It proves to the employer that you've got basic knowledge of networking, enough to get you started in the job. And then the third one is the Microsoft certification for servers, and that's a big thing in this area. A lot of our students do a generic type of job where one day they walk into a customer and they may be fixing a PC, replacing a hard drive. The next day they may be walking in and working on a network. Some customer cannot communicate with their network. The next day they might be in there fixing a server. We've had a lot of that. And actually I've found it kind of interesting that we do actually compete directly with Auburn University for jobs. Our students do compete with Auburn University graduates for jobs.
That is, I mean,
And stack up very well.
That says a whole lot. That says a whole lot, because that's what we're here for. I mean, it doesn't matter that where you graduate from. I mean, I think, of course, my experience is when you graduate from West Georgia Tech, you've got hands-on experience. But when you graduate from Auburn or Georgia, you've got the knowledge and you've got the theory basics, but you don't have quite as much practice at it.
I have all of our instructors, the first requirement for an instructor in a technical college like ours is that they have a minimum of 3 years of experience in the field before they ever, before they can teach. We are what I call the value-added component. We don't have just theoretical knowledge. My PhD says I've got quite a bit of theoretical knowledge, but to back up that theoretical knowledge, I've got about 40 years of experience in IT before I ever started teaching. I spent 11 years with IBM and 9 years with Eastman Kodak.
Lots of computers in that.
For IBM, I was servicing PC computers. When they introduced the PC in 1985, I was with them. I started servicing PCs then. And then when I went to work for Eastman Kodak, they had the contract for on-site service for Apple warranty service nationwide. So through that, I'm A+ certified, and I have an Apple authorized service rep certification. So that's what I bring to the table when I walk into a classroom. We use, in our CIS classes, we use test out LabSim software that provides the hands-on component. It gives the students the ability to proceed at their own pace. They can go over, and it is actually hands-on. They are actually, the lab simulation software is allowing them to make changes to a computer according to the requirements of that particular lab. So each student can proceed at their own pace if they pick something up quickly or if they pick it up slowly and they need to go over it a few times. They can. We use that as our primary training. When I walk into the classroom to give a lecture, the lecture is primarily about how the things that they see on the screen relate to what they will be doing in the customer's office. What kind of customer relations do they need to have? One of my biggest goals when I deal with IT is IT folks are not known for their
Personality.
customer skills.
Their people skills, yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And that's one of, and seriously, I had to learn the people skills that I have. When I went to work for IBM, I was not a very good people person, and IBM pointed that out to me. I'll be honest and say that I almost got fired 6 months after I went to work for IBM because I was rude to a customer. Don't get me wrong, the customer deserved it.
Of course.
But I was actually rude to them, and I was wrong. That was not the way you handle a customer. And because of that, they put me on a performance plan, and they said, learn some customer skills. So I had to learn them.
Well, I think that right in itself, besides the technical background and the knowledge, we produce IT people with people skills.
Yes. And
that's hard to find, and that's part of that's what our new motto should be about our computers is we have personality in our computers. Our computer technicians have personality, and good ones at that.
I have actually had a couple of businesses in LaGrange that have hired my students that have come back and asked for more students from me because of the quality of the students.
Because they were cute and clever.
Well, not exactly cute and clever. I don't think that was quite the
terminology.
It was more, they were competent. They knew what they were doing.
Well, we are about to end up our first block. This has been a fun block, and I look forward to asking some more questions and getting some more specifics, and maybe getting some secrets on how to produce computer people with personalities.
I can't give away my secret.
We'll be back in just a minute. Welcome back to Tech Savvy. I am having the best time with this episode. We've got Dr. Gary Perry here with us, and he is Computer Information Systems instructor, and he has recently received his doctorate in Applied Computer Science. Of course, in the previous block we were talking about how we produce IT students or graduates with a personality, and to me that ought to be our new tagline. But Dr. Perry, tell me what our graduates can what skills do you teach them in your program that they are able to say, okay, my new employer, this is what I can do for you?
The specific skills are, of course, very technical, and they cover 2 years of classes. But basically, we take a beginning student that doesn't necessarily know anything at all about computers, never had the covers off. We teach them the hardware and the software of the PC itself. We teach networking. We take them through the networking, the hardware and the software, protocols and such as that. We take them through basically 4 different server classes. They have, and it's all oriented around Microsoft. All of our programs are oriented around Microsoft. Now, we do have a Linux component, which Linux is open source software. People tend to think that open source software is not good because it's free. You know, you get what you pay for kind of thing. But that's not accurate, not in IT. This is software that was designed by developers for developers. It is an operating system. You can run a computer on it. I've run many of them. And it is a growing area in IT because it is open source, very good quality, and it is free, and it allows the people that use it to customize it in any way they choose, which you don't get that opportunity with commercial software.
Like Microsoft?
Right. Microsoft and Macintosh, Apple, such as that, you don't have that opportunity. You can't modify it without their consent. But we take a student right from the very beginning and we train them to where they can walk into an entry-level position and be fully competent to handle that particular job. Many students start on the help desk, which is a very common entry-level position. The money is good. I can't really quote salaries because that totally varies depending on
Size of the industry.
Yeah, size of the company, the position they're going for. But many people do start on the help desk, answering calls from customers. It gives them the opportunity to learn about the problems of that particular software or hardware, learn the ins and outs and such as that. We had a student that was hired by Panasonic as a help desk technician. Before he finished the program, he had received 2 promotions and was actually in second level support before he ever finished the program out there at West Georgia Tech.
So he could help teach by that point?
No, it's not. It's not teaching. He's the guy they call when they can't fix the problem. Here's the thing. 85% of the problems on computers can be fixed by 85% of the people. It's that 15% of the time when you have a problem that nobody else can fix, that's when you call on the real experts. That's what we're training our students to be, is that 15% that everybody calls on when nobody else can fix the problem. Yes, we take them right from the very beginning all the way to, now, don't get me wrong, they're not fully experienced and such as that, so they do have some learning.
Right, of the system that they are working on.
Correct,
right.
Correct. The problem with IT is Moore's Law. Moore's Law, Moore was a guy that he was one of the founders of Intel. Moore's Law says that computing power doubles every 18 months, or 18 months to 2 years. That's not the technical of what he said. He said that the number of transistors in a given amount of space doubles every 2 years. But the end result is that computing power doubles every 2 years. Many fields in college, like mathematics, English, history, they're kind of static, they're kind of fixed. IT changes so fast, you can't really even depend on books. You have to go to the internet. And my biggest challenge in working with students is teaching them to find the answers to questions, okay?
Right.
And I do that on a daily basis. I try never to give a straight answer to a question. I want them to find the answer themselves.
The problem-solving skills.
Exactly.
Those are so essential, and giving them the tools to make to solve their problem is all you need to do at this point.
Exactly. Almost all IT classes, almost all IT is self-learning. I'm not really what I consider a teacher. What I am is a guide, and I guide them along what's important. As they're going through these classes, they don't really know which of these things that they're learning is important and which is not. Which do they need to focus on for a job that they're going to perform for an employer. My job is to guide them as to what's important and what's not. And you can only do that with experience. That's the big advantage that we have in a technical college over a university. Many of the professors, now that's not to say they're not smart folks, they are very intelligent. Most of the great research that comes out of our universities. We have the best universities in the entire world, and that's why so many people come from foreign countries to take our classes. But they don't always tend to be very practical.
Exactly. That is where we come in.
Exactly.
And you're just providing the different, and there's so many resources available now that if you give them the opportunity, I mean, we just don't know where to look.
Exactly.
If you point them in the right direction, they'll go there, they can find it, and then they'll be able to increase their knowledge as their field enhances.
I know everybody surfed the internet, okay? You know that you can sit down in front of a computer and look at a web page, and then 4, 6, 8 hours later you say, oh my God, where did all my time go to? And it's just, there's so much information out there. One of my biggest challenges is to narrow that information stream down to a manageable level to get my students to understand how to go about finding the information that they need. Nearly everything that you want to do can be found on the internet.
I had to look it up to see how to refinish furniture the other day.
Exactly. You know, whenever I go to do anything, even in my own field, I always go to the internet first, because there are always advances. Like I say, IT is advancing so fast that you've got to be able to look up the information. I come from an era when we didn't even have telephones. I mean, I grew up, anybody that's contemporary remembers the 8-party line and the old style dial telephones and all of that. We didn't have the information resources that the students today do. And the biggest thing is I have to train them how to use those resources. That's the value-added component that you get in a technical college where you don't in a big university.
Right.
Another thing, and to me this is one of the biggest selling points, is that we're a big family out there. In a university like Auburn, you get a top-notch education, no question about that. The education you get is the best in the world. But what you don't get is the personal touch. You walk into a classroom, there may be 250 students in that classroom. My class sizes average 25 or less, okay? And every one of my students get to know me by name. I know them by name. Of course, I'm terrible with names, so it takes me a semester or two to get to know everybody's name, but I do. And the thing about it is I teach a variety of courses, everything from the intro to computers right on up to the server and programming classes. So they quite often stick with me through two entire years, and you don't have that in a big university. Typically the professors in the university specialize much more than I do. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none.
Well,
so,
that's the key. I mean, it's like you've given the foundation.
Yes.
You can't see what's going to happen around the corner.
Correct.
But you give them the resources to be able to be prepared when it does come around. So that's the key. That's the key. Well, we're about out of time.
Okay.
Will you come back to see me and come back and let's talk about some more. I want to know details
public
about
promise.
cyber security is such a big subject these days. And
My dissertation was reinterpreting the role of the hacker in the cybersecurity paradigm.
I mean, my deal on that is they're smart enough to hack in a computer or start up a virus. Why don't they work on world peace, you know?
They actually do.
But they cause it. I mean,
Well, everybody has their mischievous side.
Oh, okay. And they use theirs.
And now a lot of hackers are activists. That's where the term hacktivist comes from. If you've heard anything about the hacker group Anonymous, though they are a hacktivist group. They've gotten involved in the Julian Assange WikiLeaks.
That to me sounds like a whole nother episode.
I put it into an entire course, 16 weeks.
Good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Tech Savvy, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
What do you know about operating a boat? Hi, this is Sergeant Jim Bradfield with DNR Law Enforcement in Troup County. Have you heard of the 100-foot law? What is the minimum age of a boat operator? Can you drink alcohol on a boat? Take a boater education course and you'll know the answer to these questions and a lot more. Also remember that anyone born after January the 1st, 1998 must take an approved course to operate a boat on Georgia waters. Information on classroom, online, and home study courses is available at gadnrle.org.